In the U.S., Vice President Kamala Harris has tapped Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate for the presidential race. Meanwhile, recent polls appear to show Harris leading over Trump. Choi Min-jung has the details.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota as her running mate. Walz was chosen from half a dozen Democrats on Tuesday morning after Harris held in-person interviews with the candidates. The two made their first campaign appearance together at a rally in Philadelphia later in the day, where Harris introduced Walz as the vice president America deserves.
Because he's the kind of person who makes people feel like they belong and then inspires them to dream big. And that's the kind of vice president he will be. And that's the kind of vice president America deserves.
Harris also highlighted Walz's political record as one that ticks the boxes in supporting her goal to fight for the middle class. Harris noted that Walz was the first governor in the U.S. to sign a law enshrining abortion as a right, paid leave for women, and voting rights. It was also noted that her running mate expanded background checks and increased penalties for sales of illegal firearms. One expert says Walz's diverse blue-collar background makes him somebody who could be quite popular.
He worked as a high school social studies teacher. He coached football in Minnesota before getting into politics. He has a military background with the U.S. Army National Guard. So, too, he worked as a member of Congress for Minnesota before taking over as Minnesota's governor in 2019. So he knows the legislative side and the executive side. So even though
At Tuesday's rally, the VP candidate took aim at his competition, J.D. Vance.
I got to tell you, pointing out just an observation of mine that I made. I just have to say it. You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy and, yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see.
Meanwhile, recent polls show that Harris is moving ahead of Trump in the presidential race. Numerous national head-to-head polls, including Survey USA and NPR PBS News, put Harris up 3 points ahead of Trump in the early August period, at around 48% to 45%. CBS News made it a 1% lead for Harris. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.